Good evening. Welcome back. This issue is back in the news, and it matters. I want your opinion after these updates. Should Canada stick with the F-35 contract or cancel it and go with Saab's Gripen? Share your view in the comments. Here's what's new. We already knew Saab was offering Canadian jobs, but now the details are clearer. Saab has confirmed it would create 12,600 direct and indirect jobs in Canada if the Gripen deal goes ahead. This would include production centers in Ontario and Quebec and a pan-Canadian supplier network. Saab also plans to produce the GlobalEye surveillance aircraft in Canada in partnership with Bombardier, using the Global 6500 jet platform. In Canada, this project is known as the Airborne Early Warning and Control System. According to Simon Carroll, president of Saab Canada, these Canadian factories would not only supply the Royal Canadian Air Force, but also build aircraft for the export market. Potential buyers include Ukraine, which has shown interest in over 100 Gripens, and France and Germany for GlobalEye aircraft. Bottom line, Saab's offer has escalated from a general jobs promise to a specific factory-based manufacturing plan inside Canada with long-term industrial and export potential. Now it's your turn. F-35 or Gripen? Let me know in the comments. Saab says it would build the surveillance aircraft with Bombardier, not just for Canada, but for export worldwide, especially to European countries. This matters because Canada recently took part in an EU-Canada summit, where both sides agreed to cooperate within Europe's $1.3 trillion military procurement push, as European nations sharply increase defense spending. That makes it likely Europe will seriously consider Saab aircraft in the future. If Canada manufactures these jets domestically, it could sell to Europe, source materials from Canadian suppliers, and give Canadian companies priority access to contracts for aluminum, steel, and aerospace components, especially important as the United States has imposed tariffs on those materials. This is no longer a vague jobs promise. Saab's offer has clearly escalated: factories in Canada, export production, and direct EU-Canada cooperation. It's not just Saab pushing this, it involves European governments and the Canadian government working together.
At this point, it would be surprising for Canada to walk away and stick with the F-35, unless either 1. Canada caves to US pressure, or 2. The US makes an extraordinary offer, ending tariffs, renewing CUSMA, and guaranteeing long-term free trade. But that scenario is unrealistic. Any deal from the current US administration is unreliable and could be reversed at any time. Some analysts warn of US retaliation if Canada chooses the Gripen. One of them is Justin Massey, head of political science at the Université du Québec, who says there's no guarantee the US would integrate Swedish-made Gripens into NORAD systems. That's the core risk, but weighed against a Canadian-built fighter, thousands of jobs, export sales, and EU alignment, the choice is no longer simple.
He argues that if all this effort is only to field 16 F-35s, it's pointless from a military perspective. But what's truly pointless is locking Canada into a fighter jet fully controlled by a single foreign country, especially when that country is becoming increasingly hostile. At the same time, the EU is moving in the opposite direction, and there's nothing wrong with Canada aligning more closely with Europe, particularly when European demand for Saab aircraft is likely to grow as more EU nations move away from US defense procurement. Melanie Joly, Canada's Minister of Industry and Minister responsible for economic development in Quebec, addressed this directly in comments to CBC News. She said the government is interested in major projects that strengthen Canada's security and sovereignty while creating jobs nationwide. She added that while Canada cannot control the US president, it can control its defense investments, contract decisions, and domestic job creation, and that's where the focus will be. These are some of the most direct statements the government has made on this issue. Taken together, they strongly suggest Canada is seriously considering walking away from the F-35 and pursuing a deal with Saab. That said, there is always political and corporate posturing, and much is happening behind the scenes. One major factor is the escalating US trade pressure. The US president has publicly dismissed CUSMA USMCA as irrelevant, and an upcoming US Supreme Court ruling on the legality of tariffs could be pivotal. If the court upholds those tariffs, it could give Washington a green light to expand tariffs to additional Canadian sectors, regardless of existing trade agreements. In short, Canada's fighter decision is no longer just about aircraft. It's about sovereignty, trade leverage, industrial strategy, and long-term alliances.
I don't expect the Canadian government to make an immediate decision or award the contract to Saab. This deal is simply too valuable as a negotiating card. Depending on what happens over the next few months, it gives Canada leverage in broader political and trade negotiations. I don't like that, but it's what's likely happening. Personally, Canada should act like a sovereign nation, choose a clear path, and move forward. All signs point to the same conclusion: reduce dependence on the United States, diversify partnerships with like-minded allies such as the EU, and make decisions that serve Canada's long-term interests. Instead, what will probably happen is delay.
This decision will likely be pushed back for months, possibly until after the US midterm elections in November. The government appears to be waiting to see how much power the US president retains, whether voters weaken him, strengthen him, or create more instability. No one knows the outcome, and Ottawa is clearly watching and waiting. Meanwhile, Saab is raising the stakes with increasingly concrete and attractive promises. The deal looks strong, but politicians may hesitate because once Canada commits, it loses a major bargaining chip, especially with CUSMA technically up for renegotiation this year. That's likely the reality: posturing, waiting, and delay. Now, I want your take. Should Canada decide now or keep this card in play? Leave your comment below.
So the question is simple. Should Canada ditch the F-35 contract and move forward with Saab? Public opinion is already leaning strongly in one direction. According to a recent ECO survey, 43% of Canadians support replacing the CF-18s with Saab Gripen fighters, canceling the F-35 entirely. Another 29% favor a mixed fleet, keeping the F-35s already ordered while adding Gripens. A full F-35 fleet is the least popular option, with just 13% support nationwide. Regionally, support for an all F-35 fleet is lowest in Quebec and British Columbia, 9%, and even in its strongest regions, Atlantic Canada, 16%, and Alberta, 18%, support remains weak. Notably, even in Alberta, the most conservative province, fewer than 1 in 5 people support buying only F-35s. To me, that makes the direction clear. There's one logical decision the government can make. Still, I expect delays. Ottawa will likely take its time, and I don't agree with that. Canada should make an independent decision, choose its path, and move forward. Now I want to hear from you. Stick with the F-35 or cancel it and sign a deal with Saab. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the content, subscribe and consider joining the channel to support the work. I'll see you in the next one.